Hey guys, this is Alex. In this episode, Jess and I are sharing our thoughts on social media and whether or not it has more positives than negatives. We also talk about how social media has vastly shifted our personal lives and how we interact with it. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it.
Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Alex and Jess. Today, we are talking about social media, because what a hot topic.
Bum, bum, bum.
We don't have the budget for sound effects, so we gotta use our own interpretations.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a meme. It'll be fun.
Oh God, no, I don't want to be a meme.
Wait, is that your worst fear? Because one of my irrational fears, biggest irrational fears, is like becoming the meme.
But that's pretty cool, though. Internet. I mean, okay, you have a meme, though.
But then you were saying like, oh, I don't want to become a meme.
Well, I don't. But if it's funny, then fine, whatever.
Okay.
If I can laugh at myself for it, then yeah. But if I'm embarrassed, then no, I don't want to be a meme.
Have you seen Uncut Gems?
No, I have not.
You haven't seen that meme? Oh my God. What is it like to be a muse? I mean, what is a muse really? You haven't seen that one?
No. That's a meme?
Oh my God. Okay, that's a meme. That's a meme. It's so funny. It's Kanye West his ex, I guess, girlfriend. Her name is Julia Fox, and she did an interview with somebody, I don't know who, but I think it was an interview, and the interviewer was asking her about like what's it like being a muse, and then she went off into this like kind of like existential like conversation and like gave her like a really existential like answers like, oh, what is a muse though? You know, I was a muse for Josh Safdie on Uncut Gems, and like the way she said it was really funny, and like everyone memed her for that. Aww. It was just incredible. But no, she did a recent like red carpet interview. It was like a really quick video, and like she was so cool about it. She was like super awesome about it. So. It's pretty funny.
I bet she got a lot of followers from that, or like more well known because of that, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Kanye's ex-girlfriend. She's the meme girl.
yeah, exactly. It's the best. That's actually so funny.
Yeah, I mean that's a good segue to today's topic, which is social media. You know, like, what are your thoughts about that? Because I feel like there's so much good in it, and there's so much not so good in it.
Mm-hmm. I think, like, I've always thought about this, about, like, social media and, like, in general, I guess, social media as, like, all-encompassing thing. I think, for me, personally, I see a lot more good in it versus, like, the bad. Because, like, if I just look at... I'm just going to take TikTok, for example, like, as my biggest, like, example. And also maybe Instagram as well. But, like, all of my comments on there are mostly positive. Right, so like, I guess it's not exactly the same as like I can't really like extrapolate it to like the whole TikTok and social media and stuff like that in general. But like from what I've seen, a lot of it is mostly positive. So that's maybe me being like super optimistic and saying like, oh, then most of the platforms and most people in general, I think are to me. Are super optimistic and good people. They're positive people in general. Of course, you'll get some people, trying to bring you down and saying negative stuff and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think overall, in general, social media as a whole I see a lot more like positivity versus like negativity. Even on other people's like comments, comment section. Yeah. Like I see a lot more like positivity and things like that, good stuff versus like people trying to bring other people down.
Yeah, I honestly don't understand that whole side of social media. It's like, why? Like, I just personally would never sit behind a keyboard and say mean things about someone I don't even know, right? Like, I just don't understand why people take the time out of their lives to do that. Like, it doesn't make you feel better when you do that. It's just like, like, what if they don't even read it? But does it still make you feel better? I don't know. It's just so...
Yeah.
This is just a strange concept to me. It's like you would never say that to a person's face, right? And like, why do you feel like you have the right to say that over an anonymous picture or anonymous profile? It's just so bizarre to me. Such a weird.
And it's always the people that have like 0 followers and no profile picture that comment. It's always those people.
I mean, yeah. I think it's even funnier though when it's an actual person. I've seen like don't remember who it was, but I saw somebody, and they're just saying nasty comments. And they had an actual profile, and they worked at a big tech company, and they said like not very nice things, like very mean things, and they actually got fired. And like, it's just like, why would you say those mean things? Like, and I don't know, it's just so crazy to me. I don't understand it.
I know. And like, but the thing is, like, it's kind of like, it's funny that I say like there's so much optimism and stuff like that, and I have a lot of optimism, but like I've gotten like negative comments before, and like it just takes one negative comment to like ruin your entire day. And I've had that happen a couple times where it's like, where like especially at the beginning when I started growing my following on Instagram, like it would just bring my whole day down. Because it was new for me, and it never had that like happen before. And so it's so new to me, and like I just didn't know how to deal with it at that time. And so I was like rethinking like my whole life. I found myself like rethinking, you know, seriously like rethinking like parts of my life. I'm like, really, am I doing this wrong? Like, you know, like I'll have like those moments, and nowadays it doesn't, you know, it doesn't get as bad. I'll maybe like think about it for like 5 minutes and be like, huh. No, I'm right. I know I'm right. Like, because I've done this so much, you know, I know. Yeah. So it doesn't get to me as much now. And I just turn around and just, you know, I just always think like how dumb the other person is for commenting. And I've actually responded to like a couple like comments before, like negative comments and stuff, and just try to not fight fire with fire, and not like, you know, be negative to the other person, but instead try to be like understanding and like seeing it from their point of view and correcting them in a very nice way. Versus like people like to see like, when, you know, a fight going on in the comments, and I know I do. Because I'll scroll through the comments and like look at the replies. I'm like, ooh, this guy's fighting back. More comments. Show more. It's been 5 minutes. Why hasn't this guy commented back?
Oh my gosh. So bad.
So like it's bad, but like, but yeah, I just feel like commenting like hateful stuff or like returning the fire in a way is like doesn't really help. And so like I try to always come at a negative comment with like positivity and try to see it from the other person's point of view and see if I can like explain it to them in a better way. And that's how I've gotten around that nowadays.
Gotcha. I feel like a lot of people are like trolls too, and like there's definitely a better way to say constructive criticism. Like if you don't agree with somebody, you can say it in a nice way. Like I don't expect everybody to agree. I feel like it's a pro and a con, right? It's a beauty of just the world that we live in, is like everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but you don't have to be rude or mean about it. Like you can have your own thoughts and feelings, but it's like it takes a very mature person to hear them out and be like, okay, I hear you, but I still, you know, exactly. I respectfully don't agree, but that's okay too. And you know, I think it definitely opens people's minds, like if you're willing to listen to what they have to say, and like maybe that'll help you feel more strongly about your own opinions, or maybe you're like, oh, okay, maybe I haven't thought about it that way, and you can kind of become a better person that way, right? I feel like there's a lot, like you said, a lot of positives about it. Like I think it connects people to each other, you know, over a very unique platform. It's so different than anything else that's been I guess that's not true. There's been like Facebook and MySpace and all that stuff. I feel like social media has always been a thing. I feel like now more than ever it's huge, and that like you're weird if you don't have one, which I don't think it is, but it's very interesting how consumed with social media everybody is, in a way, you know, like it's a very big part of everybody's lives. Like your phone eats first for the most part. Exactly. Yeah. And I do think it's very fun. I feel like it's a very easy way for people to be creative. It's like, how do you take this shot, or how do you position this certain plate, or like how do you pick out an outfit to make it go with where you're going, you know, like just little things like that too, where back in the day that's never a thing to even consider. So I feel like, and it's opened so many new jobs for people. Like being a content creator is so readily available for people, like if they are able to do that as a full-time job. Like there's so many people nowadays, whereas maybe 10 years ago that was so weird, like such a weird concept, and people didn't think it was an actual job, and now it's very much one. So I think in that sense it's pretty cool, and it's a very niche thing. Like I don't think it's anything or like anything else. It's a very interesting way of marketing too, I feel like.
I think especially for social media and like my line of work, it has opened up so much more opportunity for freelancing. You can now connect with brands and companies anywhere at any time around the world, and that's like the one thing that I've always like appreciated about the internet in general, and also like social media. Like you can find the email of anybody at any company now, you know, because of the internet. And so before you can't do that. Before you have to go through a phone book and then maybe go into the office and go into the, you know, the company, the building.
Call them.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to pick up the phone and call them, and that's weird. No. But now on social media, you can just literally DM someone on Instagram and say to a brand and say, hey, I do this, this, and this. Are you interested in working with me to create a video or a commercial for your brand? And yes or no. You know, sometimes they'll say no, sometimes they'll say yes. And if you get a yes, then you're off to the races, you know? So there's so many opportunity. And a lot of people don't understand it and don't actually see it yet, which is kind of weird because, like, it's been around for, like, what, 10 years, like you said? So, yeah, there's so much opportunity out there on the internet in general.
Yeah. I think more and more people are actually coming around to the idea. I feel like with businesses, like for a place to eat at a new restaurant or something, like you go to Yelp and then you see if they have an Instagram page to see like photos and stuff like that too. And it's so interesting though, because it's like back in the day, that's never a thing, right? Like that's just such a bizarre thing. Like if you were to tell someone 10 years ago, like, yeah, just look them up on Instagram, like see what they have, or just like not even just food, like anything, right? Like just literally anything. Like if you don't have a Instagram page, then it's kind of like, oh, what are you doing? You know, like that's very easy marketing for you to just put yourself out there and like open doors for yourself. Yeah, and it's free. It's like it's super
mind-boggling.
easy. Yeah.
Instagram is free. TikTok is free. Facebook is free. Like, of course, there's ads because of that, but like, it's free. Like that's crazy how much like more marketing that you can like exposure you can gain because of like these platforms. And you can and social media just brings a lot of people together. I to me it feels like it just brings more people together than you know tearing people apart. And I think if you want to be like a teacher on these platforms and like an educator and stuff like that, it's so much more accessible nowadays than it ever was. You don't have to have a license or like, you know, you don't have to like go through the state and everything and go through all these like, you know, tests and everything, get all these like achievements, whatever. What are they called? Certificates. You don't have to get so many certificates to be like, you know, teaching people. And it's like literally accessible to everybody.
Yeah, I feel like YouTube is like a perfect place for that. You can learn literally anything on YouTube. Like, how do you fix your pipes? Learn it on YouTube. How do you do your floors? Learn it on YouTube, you know? Like, it is just so crazy how much stuff is out there nowadays. Like, you can literally find anything on there.
And the best part is, because there's so many people talking about maybe the same thing, like how to fix your pipes and stuff like that, you can watch literally all of them, like 10 videos, and you'll know exactly which one's the bad one, which one's the uninformative one, and which one's the really good one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's how you tell, you know, if someone is correct or like an actual instructor or actually knows what they're talking about and stuff like that. Because you have comparisons now, you know, versus before it was like, oh, you know, Joe is the best in town. You have to go with Joe, you know. Now it's like there's Joe, there's Bob, there's, you know, everybody. You can pick and choose, and you can learn from everybody. And that's what, for me, the internet has like opened up so many more options for everybody. Yeah.
I mean, my job, I use it all the time. I Google stuff like every day.
Exactly. Yeah. So. And so like, especially like the sites that you're using, it's like everyone is building a community. Like there's a community on those sites, you know, that you can go to these communities, find help, find entertainment, find, you know, a resource for you to be to help you in everyday life. And I think that's that's so cool. Like, honestly, pre-internet, I don't know if I could have like survived pre-internet.
I know.
You would just have, I mean, you would go to like, in public, in like in-person, whatever, groups and gatherings and stuff like that. But now you can hop on Discord with your buddies and like with people all around the world, and you can just have a community there, you know? So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I feel like there's so much more technology and inventions too with the internet. Like people are learning things that they probably could not have had access to, right? Like 5 years ago even. Like if you are solving a math problem or something and you're like, how do I do this? You don't have to go to your teacher. You can be like, oh, let me look it on YouTube and see what other people have done and learn from them. And yeah, it's pretty cool how it's transformed into this big thing that is so useful, and there's just so many things.
I know. I get so excited talking about social media and just like the internet in general, just because like to me it's such a cool thing. I would not be here if it was not for like YouTube or social media in general and the internet. Like I would not have built our company and stuff like that if it wasn't for the internet. Freelancing is like would have been super hard.
Yeah.
Like ridiculously hard. If you did not have like the internet. So
yeah, do you think social media
never been an easier time.
Yeah. Do you think social media has helped like small businesses like yourselves? Because I feel like more and more now small businesses I see them like all over TikTok, all over social media, and I've seen small businesses blow up because of TikTok, or like one of their things has gone viral, and it's so cool to see, like, because for example 5 years ago, like Etsy, there's such a huge like array of people who are making the same things, but if you like have a viral video that goes viral then like that gives your shop so much exposure that you could not have gotten 5 years ago, which is crazy to me, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it definitely made it like a lot easier for you to start something and just create videos, create photos onto social media and put it out there for people to see. And that way, if something goes viral or something gains a lot of traction, a lot of eyeballs are on it, and a lot more people can decide yes or no on your product. And so that's like, that's something to me like insane.
Yeah.
To me, that's so incredible that you have so much opportunity out there, and you never know. Just like one video can change your whole life. It's that crazy, especially with TikTok, right? Especially with TikTok and YouTube, like one video, you're just one video away from blowing up. Yeah. It's that crazy, right?
No, I just went on a tangent of like, man, like what would it be like in my head, like as a celebrity or like just overnight success? I just don't even know like how people get used to that fame and everything like that too. It's just, that is like a whole different topic, but anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like being like a child star, like a movie star, right?
Yeah.
Like all of like Harry Potter, like all of a sudden you have like, Daniel Radcliffe, like Rupert Grint and Emma Watson, all of a sudden they have so many eyeballs on you and stuff like that. And so like, yeah, it can be a little bit daunting. And especially with like the social media days now, like anybody can do that. Anybody can like blow up like that.
True.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's definitely pros and cons of social media. I think I think for the most part, it's like really good for people. I think another negative side of social media that is kind of negative is that you are constantly comparing people. And I feel like on Instagram, you see people doing these crazy, awesome things. And you're like, damn, like my life sucks. Yeah. And you're just constantly comparing yourself to other people. And I feel like it's tough because it's such a highlight reel, right? Like it's so... Like you don't put bad stuff on Instagram. Like you put the things that are the most fun that's happening in your life and the best edited pictures. Like you pick one out of the 1,000 that you take and you post it. And I feel like people kind of lose sight of like what's real and what's fake, or like what's posed, I guess. And it's really easy to compare your life to other people if you don't look like them, I guess, or your life doesn't look like them. I feel like that one's tough too. But yeah.
I really appreciate those people who like post like a before and after kind of thing, or they'll post like a like expectation versus like reality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so like it just makes it a lot more like relatable in a way, because like you're like, oh yeah, I do look like, you know, like the before version, and so like, you know, like it just you're kind of exposing yourself in a way, and I think that just benefits a lot more people that way. It's just seeing like, oh, not everything has to be like perfect, not everything has to be you know, this like picture perfect thing. Your life doesn't have to be like that, and I think it's really important to like remind everybody too, like everybody should, you know, be, I guess in a way like more mindful that you don't have to have like the perfect life. Not everybody has their life figured out all at once, and that's okay. Yeah, totally.
I feel like people are being more relatable nowadays, like being more authentic and raw, and kind of straying away from, you know, this is my perfect life, and you know, all here is rainbows and butterflies, which I think is awesome, because I feel like that sets, like, especially for little girls, right? Like if you're this beautiful supermodel, or little boys too, it doesn't, I mean, just kids in general, or like people who are trying to find themselves, right? Like they're already struggling with their identity, or like figuring out who they want to be, and they see these people that are just so different from them, right? Like, and they live this perfect life, and you're like, damn, like, why can't I be like that? Or, you know, and I think it's definitely more healthy for them to see people who are like them, or like more relatable and more human, and like, oh wow, like they actually mess up sometimes, or they don't look, you know, perfect waking right out of bed, like stuff like that. And I think it's important to like remind people that it's not always rainbows and butterflies, and
it's really important to acknowledge those moments, like, you know, the so-called like bad moments, you know, the quote-unquote bad moments. I think it's really, really important to acknowledge that, because then it just makes it seem like you're living this like amazing, stress-free, problem-free life, which never happens ever. You know, everybody that you meet has like, you know, stuff going on in the background and stuff, and I don't know, I think it's just good for like everybody's mental health to be to acknowledge that, hey, we have our ups and we also have our downs, you know.
Obviously you're probably not gonna be filming the downs, but just like mentioning that, hey, you know, I don't know, but I feel like that's part of the reason why it's such a highlight reel. It's because it's awkward to film those bad moments. It's not like you're gonna whip out a camera and be like, oh, we're in a fight, and film it. But like, I feel like, you know, if something natural happens on camera, like, or maybe make it less edited, and I feel like that's so cool, because it's like more raw, and it feels like you're there with whoever you're watching, or whoever you're interacting with on social media, and I think that makes it more like, oh, we're friends, and I know you more because you are more relatable, you show more sides of you, and not just more authentic, and you're not just telling me the good stuff and that's it, right? Like your friends go through good and bad things, they share that with you, and you help them through that. And I think social media can definitely do that too, and it's kind of cool, because you're like, oh wow, we're all like internet friends and stuff like that.
I know. And like you find yourself, you have more you find yourself like having more in common with like a total stranger, and like that's what like I love about social media, is because like you find out so many things that other people are going through as well, you know, like you know, struggling with your business, you know, like, oh, you know, I don't know where to start, and like 1,000 other people also don't know where to start, and like we're all in it together, you know, so like we can give each other tips and advice and stuff like that, and it's really cool. So that's like one of my favorite things about social media. I think I've said that many times, but No,
I definitely think social media has gone to the point where it's more helpful than not, for a lot of people. And I think if you use it wisely, and like you're using it with caution in a way that like you're not making yourself feel bad about using social media, and you're using it for good stuff, then I think it's definitely a powerful tool to have.
Yeah, it definitely is. I like it a lot. I think it's like you said, I think it does more good than it does harm. Especially like how, I guess we're in a stage where social media is much more mature, and people are more cognizant of like what's going on behind the scenes. You know, like we are at the point where hopefully everybody knows that, you know, not every picture is like perfect. Not every person has a perfect life, and and everything. You know, it's not all roses. But yeah, I think it's really awesome. Social media, it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a fun little outlet to have too. It's like, I feel like I appreciate a filtered like pose picture more when people are more authentic. I'm like, wow, that's a really cool shot, or like, oh, that's really cool that they did that or thought of that, you know. And it's, I feel like nowadays, like compared to like a few years ago, it's less about comparison and more about like, you go girl, or like, you're doing really awesome, and like people are more motivating towards each other, which is really awesome, because I think we need more positivity in the world. So I'm really glad that that kind of mindset is shifting away from being like mean and like putting people down, and like instead it's supporting each other and uplifting each other. So that's really awesome to see.
Yeah,
I feel like that makes social media way more fun than
I know.
not.
Yeah, because it's like when you, especially like if you're not, you know, as a person who doesn't even, you know, comment too much on like other people's posts, like if you see like a whole like page of like negativity, and that just, I don't know, for me that kind of like rubs it.
For sure.
You know, on a certain level, it like rubs off on you as well, and you kind of start seeing like things, you know, in a negative way, and you're like, wait, you know, this is not right, you know. So so yeah, I'm glad that like most people are like not, you know, commenting like hateful stuff on social media.
Just have fun with it. Be nice. Don't be mean. Don't be that
just
troll.
Like be nice and troll. and I think like social media like really reflects you as a person in real life. The real life person, like it reflects who you are actually in real life. Like if you're someone who comments hate and just mean stuff in general, like there's something going on with you in real life, not just like on the internet, you know? So
be nice to people.
I know.
It's not hard. But yeah, I think social media is fun. I think it definitely gives people a lot of creative freedom. So that's awesome.
That's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed what we talked about in this episode. If you want more content from us, make sure to follow us on our social media channels. We'll have links in our bio or description. Have a great day.